was cool, dude. I got 5.
Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. Shalom, Big E. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Mike.
How are you today?
Perfect. Thanks
Doing all
for
right?
having me.
Yeah. I love walking down here when you and E are down here by yourselves, just going off. I always feel bad because you guys tend to get mad at me when I start to interject. It's like, yeah, we talked about that 3 minutes ago while you were upstairs.
Yeah, 4 paragraphs ago, and then you try to walk in and you want us to reset whole conversation.
I know, but it's always such a fascinating conversation
that's
that
the thing,
you guys
it's
are
usually
in.
Not. It's usually just mundane banter.
But
and
I
then
love
we have
mundane banter.
We have to reset the whole thing for
My
you.
thing is
Wait,
mundane
what?
banter.
Happened? What happened?
Wait,
Like,
where?
Fuck.
Stop having interesting conversations.
Mundane.
Interesting.
Mundane.
Today, you guys were right in my wheelhouse. I come down, and you guys are bitching about local radio personalities. I'm like, oh, I want to be a part of this. Yeah, I like jumping on the bandwagon and bitching about
easy
people.
to do. There's a lot to bitch about.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It stemmed from us going to that Star Wars premiere the other day at the new Imagine Theater there in Novi, and we sat next to who was it? Cal
Cagno.
Cal Cagno,
Formerly
nice
of-
guy, man.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, I'd never met him before. It was what, the 8 and 9X morning show,
Yes.
Cal and Company, and
And you can attest that I actually have said
yeah.
off the air to you that I of all the morning shows that were on at the time, that's the one I would go to.
Yeah.
It's Cal's show.
Which is funny because you hate everybody in media. There's very few people you like. You're way more likely to go, fuck, I got stuck listening to this asshole,
Yeah.
you know. And I do remember that where you're like,
dude, the one
honestly,
guy-
dude, Cal is actually pretty good. Everyone
Yeah.
else on the show blows, but Cal is actually all right.
Fortunately, he had a hole with him, so it was.
Yeah.
Oh, and the hole,
That's tough
the hole
sledding.
was a really dark hole, like a deep hole. Like she really.
Oh, she thought she was
A black
yeah.
hole-y? Are you
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
what
a
I was
black
actually
hole?
kind of trying to go with. You're right, more of a black hole. Like she was, yes, she thought she was hot. She thought she was really funny. She thought she was really good at what she did.
It's tough.
And I would
She
disagree
might have
with
been
all
married
three
to-
of those
She
things.
might have been married to someone in charge.
She was.
Well, that makes
Who's a friend? I don't, whatever.
that makes sense.
Honestly, I've
Sorry.
never heard the show.
Hey, those in glass houses.
Yeah,
right?
I've
So,
never heard the show. I can honestly say that we were always working
throw
during
stones
it. So.
back at us too.
But anyway, so we talked to Cal for a while, and as the those, I don't know, what did they have? 2.5 hours of previews
Yeah.
before the movie, and so
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm gonna be rushing from dropping off sweet pie at the bus to get to this
Tiny
thing.
girl,
Tiny girl, she's a peanut brittle.
look
She's
at that TG.
just a little sweet pie.
Look at that boobs. Look at that boobs.
So I left her at the bus, and of course that day it was late. So I'm dying. I'm like anxious as hell. I got to get across town to Novi to see this movie. I'm been
True or
waiting
false?
Only 2 years.
You actually thought about maybe leaving the tiny girl.
Thought about leaving the tiny girl, fend
the-
for herself. But then I'm like, no, I can't leave my sweet pie.
Tiny girl, if something happened, I'd never forgive myself.
So I stayed until she entered the bus, and then I took off, and it was bad out of hell across
Dude,
town.
we were shocked at how fast you got there.
But I was happy and to know that, per usual, there was going to be, 25 minutes of
Yeah.
previews.
Which ended with, they love doing this. It ended with a, what was it? Basically telling us to be quiet during the
Every
movie.
theater has their own
Yeah.
little spiel they do now, whether it's a cartoon or whether it's a person that comes on and tells you to silence your cell
Turn
phones
off
and
your
all
cell
this.
phone.
Yeah, well, they got really creative with this one.
Yeah, and they used a local wacky morning show. What are these? J Towers? I thought it was Mojo, but you guys say it was
Yeah,
J
it's
Towers.
Jay Towers and the crew.
Yeah, they were just. I mean, it was amazing because the cameras just happened to catch this rare moment in studio.
In studio, they had the headphones on in front of the mics. Everything.
Yeah,
He's at the board as if he's controlling audio.
They were warning us about, shaking Junior Mints at the wrong
yeah, it's
time.
noisy.
and-
It's crazy because they had like a bucket of popcorn, Junior Mints. They had
Yeah.
all the treats, and they had a nice couple-minute discussion about keeping quiet.
zany.
It was zany.
I feel
it's-
bad for them because somebody has to do it, I mean, they're being paid to do
Yeah.
it, so I get it.
Don't feel too bad because they get paid way more
I
than
know.
people should.
Yeah.
At least they used to. Who knows what people are making now?
No, but you know they're sitting there going, "Oh God, this is douchey." Right?
Yeah.
Anybody with
I
a
hope
pulse
I
has
hope
to.
so at least. But I don't know.
Anybody
I don't
with a
know,
pulse
dude.
has to.
I don't
dude,
know, dude. His whole show's like that. So
I mean, he's filling the WNIC guy. What was for
Dick
years?
Purton?
No, the Jim
Harper?
Harper, right?
yeah.
He's kind of filling that role now. I mean, somebody's
Yeah.
got to do it, right?
Okay, Harper didn't. I know Harper. He's a great guy. One of the truly good ones in radio. And Harper didn't. Harper knew exactly what he was. And Harper got paid a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Harper had a brand new,
God bless him.
fucking dope ass ride in the park. Like every day of the week, he had a new $100,000 car. It was
Good for Jim.
incredible.
There's
But
different
he knew
markets.
he was not one of those guys that was like, oh yeah, I'm the shit. He knew who his audience was, and it's like, fuck you, I'm getting paid. And when
It's
they
vanilla.
tried to restructure his deal, one of those like, well, times have been tough. He's like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Bye. See you later, and walked
for
out.
him.
He wasn't going to restructure shit.
Yeah.
This is what I signed for. This is what you said you're paying me. We're not doing anything different. Bye. And bailed.
Yeah,
was
so
like,
there's
good for
always
you,
going to be
man.
that market. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe not. I mean, our culture is slipping so quickly. Maybe there won't be the vanilla market anymore.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what they're filling. And I think, I got to believe, like, Towers and the other people with them on this thing were going, all right, you know.
Yeah.
You paid to do a commercial in a certain way. We got to do this.
Well, you know, you can understand obviously that having us on in the car is probably not the best thing for a mom driving around.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
I've actually
like,
had moms report that. That's
yeah,
not the best thing.
I've heard that too. I had to leap for the dial
Yeah.
to turn it down.
I
because,
leapt.
You know, my 4-year-old is starting to quote, you know, something you guys said. So we understand that, and so there is a hole there that needs to be filled. And honestly, you know what? As much as we can make fun of that, two of the nicest guys in all of Metro Detroit radio are Jay Towers and Mojo. So, you know, I mean, they're decent guys, and I think if you got them off the record, they would be like, oh,
Sure,
fuck yeah,
that-
I know what I'm doing. You
I
know?
will
what I
say,
figure.
you know what? Okay, having said all that though, dude, I'm just talking about going to the movie theater. Like that thing that they do is like 3 to 5 minutes almost. Dude, can't it
Yeah.
just fucking be a minute of a thing that says, dude, everyone knows to turn off your cell
Yeah.
phones and shit.
Yeah.
That's the only, that actually
It was
would get
quite a production.
Like that
It was
would get
quite a
more
production.
Yeah.
bothersome to me than even the douchiness of them. Like the fact that it has to take 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
to
will
do
that
it.
will that air before all their movies there? That's just
probably.
boy, God.
Maybe. I don't know. I would think, yeah, because they didn't identify it as like, hey, you're about to watch Star Wars, the new movie, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like something that.
And from Imagine's perspective, the longer people are sitting in the seats, the more chance they're going to go buy something, right?
I
yeah,
know.
buy more
So
stuff.
it's like,
sure.
why not throw a 3-minute intro there warning you about silencing your cell phone?
I wonder how much, say, talent has now in this market. Like, there was a day when you go, yeah, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that. No way.
Shaking the junior mints.
Dude,
No, I'm not
the
doing it.
idea that Drew would be on that screen, go, oh, popcorn shaking is loud. Like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
But now,
Stretching. They talk about stretching the long stretch or whatever.
yeah. But when we were talking to Cal, and he's like, dude, I did 18 years in this market. I can't get a fucking sniff of an interview in radio. And I just looked at him, I was like, why would you even want
Well,
to?
that's what he
Like,
said too. He's like, not sure I want to.
Yeah, but that should tell you a lot. That here's a guy in a major market who's done decent morning radio and can't get a gig somewhere. So I mean, it's like,
The world's changing, Mike, and I think we're right where we want to be.
yeah, and I think my point to that is like, you don't have to say anywhere. It's like, no, you will do that commercial. They will have cameras in our studio, and you will film this for them. You know, it's a new buy for us, so deal with it.
Yeah. Hey, Hamlin Pub wants you to know about their New Year's Eve bash. Of course, that's Sunday, December 31st, 7 p.m. start and going to 2 a.m. It's $220 per couple, but that includes a ton. It includes a 4-course plated dinner for 2 with the ultimate dessert bar, open bar until 1 a.m., champagne toast and party favors, live entertainment, a one-night stay in a deluxe hotel room, and a complimentary breakfast. Also transportation, that's the key, from Hamlin to and from the pub. So call today, 586-786-9350 to get your tickets.
I have to say, one, I'm actually considering doing that
Cool.
for real. And two,
Yeah.
you know what could be even more fun about that is like if you do this package, if you think about it, since it includes the hotel and the ride, it could really end up becoming a thing where I'm not saying that everyone's gonna party afterwards, but dude, you might get to know some people.
Go
You're
party
the,
at E's room.
Well, dude,
Yeah,
you're at the
hell yeah.
hotel. You guys were all at the same bar.
Yeah.
I mean,
216. See you guys in a few.
just
No one
saying.
shows up to E's big party.
I'm just
He's
saying.
sitting there by himself. He's bought a case of beer for everybody.
Just
Cheese
saying.
puffs and beer
Oh
for
man,
everybody.
it's just me. He's got his Happy New Year hat on and his little blow toys. And no one's there.
I
Well,
wanted
for
to sing
people-
Old Lang Syne.
Well, for people that wouldn't be like for other people that meet people that they're not afraid to. I'm just saying that is one of those things that like if you're
Take the party
dude,
elsewhere.
if you're two guys, you know, if there's some chicks. I mean, you're all going back to the same hotel.
Have you ever gotten the
A big grin. Son of a bitch.
have you ever experienced the midnight kiss on New
No,
Year's?
I have not.
Oh my gosh.
I somehow had a feeling that was going to be the response, but I just wanted to hear it
No
out
one
loud.
just in the name of tradition has grabbed you and pecked you on the cheek or anything?
I mean, no.
like, I gotta.
I mean, well, if you're, I mean, yeah,
Nana? Nana?
Nana.
I suppose if you went back, like, I'm sure that technically I
did
don't
you
know if
used
I
to
kissed
stay
my
up
mom
even
or
when you were a
not.
little kid? You probably stayed up. I want to watch the ball drop, right?
Yep.
Well, I remember for a while thinking that the ball dropping, like I thought they dropped a ball.
Fuck
like
yeah,
I
everybody
didn't,
does.
like,
When you actually see it as a kid, you're like, What?
Stupid.
Like, it's just lower. Is it going down? I can't even tell.
Yeah.
It is, but it's dumb. I don't know where that
It's
came from.
slow and stupid.
Yeah. And what would the point be to drop a ball? Like if they actually just dropped a ball?
Hey, maybe
I looked into it
this
last
day in history could.
Yeah, maybe.
There
I
you
looked
go.
into it last year. I remember we talked about. I don't remember anymore, but we talked about on this show what the deal was last year.
Genesis of the ball dropping. Speaking of this day in history, it is this day in history with Big E. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you want to get to that now, or do you want to do it after the break? E?
I'd rather do it after the break.
Yeah, a little
Do
more
we have a
time
hit?
to-
Do you know what he's
I have
doing?
no idea.
I don't
he said,
either.
He said it was chock full of.
There was a lot of things
Options.
today. I will say that.
Really?
Like, there was
What-
like
what were
several-
some of the
I
options?
don't remember
Just-
now. I'd have to look. You know what I mean? But there
So
was,
many of them you can't remember a one.
Not a single
I don't
one.
know.
Well, look, I just want to know what you bypassed.
There
What you
was,
decided was not up to snuff to be recognized today.
I don't remember, but there was. I remember feeling like there was a lot. Like I felt like I went. I
How
know
about I
that-
make the morning announcements and then you look up this day in
okay.
history and we'll come right back to
right.
you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Hi, kids. If we could have your attention, please. We're going to need Ehrlich Bachman, a.k.a. T.J. Miller, to report to the principal's office. T.J. Miller to the principal's office.
That's not a shock.
Oh, Bachman.
Ehrlich Bachman.
Well, good thing he's off that show now.
Yeah, I know. They wrote him out just in time. Well, he
Yeah.
had bigger, better things to do, right? Like his
sure.
stand-up. Ugh.
Oh, dude, I know. I get Comedy Central announced today or yesterday that they've canceled the Gorberger show,
Okay.
which I guess was an animated thing that he was the star of. There are reports that they planned on shit canning it back in the summer, but now that this story is dropped, they've just decided to announce it now. So I don't know that it's directly tied, but you know the timing of everything. Do you have a list there before we get to that?
I can go over some of this stuff. I
Yeah, I
guess.
just want
We want to know what you passed over.
Yeah,
because
what did you pass?
All
on?
these things are going to be so great. We're going to be astounded by what you picked, right?
I don't know. To me, well, I picked something that I find.
Well, don't tell us what you picked. Just tell us what you passed.
At first jury trial in Delaware to
Oh.
me seemed kind of interesting.
That would have been great for Jay.
Very interesting.
You know he's a lawyer, right?
Lawyer.
The first successful
Lawyer.
U.S. cotton mill to spin yarn opened today.
Oh, that's very interesting. God, I can't believe he passed on that
Is he
either.
talking about the cotton gin? Eli Whitney's thing?
fucking Mike.
What?
the
changed
cotton
everything.
mill, not the cotton gin. But
Took the gin to the next level.
in 1820, Missouri imposed a $1 bachelor tax on unmarried men between 21 and
bullshit.
50.
I hated that.
That's
I
huge,
fucking
though.
hated
I can't
that.
believe he passed on that. Wow, the one he picked must be really outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think where there's some other stuff. There was a lot of Civil War crap that happened today.
Oh, he loves Civil War. That
You
must
know,
have been
you
pretty compelling.
you took a step out onto the ledge to announce that there was so much shit today, and it's like, it's not even Eli Whitney's cotton gin. It's the cotton what?
Those things are interesting to me.
Mill.
Though. Those things are interesting to me.
You mentioned the mill and then $1 tax on bachelors. Like
That's
really,
interesting
is
to
this
me.
mildly at best, but
Well,
I mean, did it warrant a statement like I passed up a lot of great things, a lot going on today?
I think the point is the thing he picked is going to be so
Huge.
outstanding.
Huge.
And I can't wait. The way
Yeah.
he's built this up is incredible.
So did you say you want to do that after the break, E?
yes. Okay.
So we'll wait, and we'll. I can't wait. I'm just
He
giddy
wants,
with
he
excitement.
wants more time for the anxiety to build.
Yeah, exactly. You have some visuals for us too today.
I'm a visual learner.
Kinda.
Back to T.J. Miller, and dude, if this was announced, I don't know, a year and a half ago, this would have been devastating to this room.
Yeah,
The two of us
dude,
are
love Silicon Valley.
We love Silicon Valley. We love Ehrlich Bachman.
Bachman's a great character.
It is. He's a great character. But then we started hearing reports about him kind of being a dick and wanting off the show, and it was like, it's kind of shitty, whatever, but okay.
But he's got the stand-up coming out. I'm definitely going to check that out.
And it was arguably the worst stand-up either one of us have ever seen.
We both watched it independent of one another, and both of us had the same reaction. That was so shitty and stupid.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
It was brutal.
It was almost
brutal.
Gallagher-esque in that he was just like dumping water all over himself.
Yeah, but,
it was
but Gallagher had insights. Between smashing watermelons and shit, Gallagher actually had political views and
Yeah.
relationship. Like, he was an entertaining
it
guy.
was almost like Bachman, T.J. Miller, was just winging it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're on an HBO special, I think it was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, this should be locked down.
Promoted.
This should be the hammer.
Oh, the drinking of the water. Just.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun. It's almost worth watching to see how unbelievably bad it is. Wasn't there some, like, shield and sword bit he was
battle
doing at the
axe
end?
thing.
Battle axe? Yeah. Just awful. So once we saw that, it was like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Bye, Bachman.
yeah, goodbye. And so now a victim has come out. and is talking about their days at George Washington University back in like 2000 to 03. I think he graduated in 03. And he apparently sexually assaulted her in college. He, of course, denies the shit out of this. So does his wife. But yeah, it's been buzzed about apparently in Hollywood for years, that people have known about this, to the point that some women are like, yeah, you don't want to be on a comedy troupe with him. You don't want to go on tour with him. You know, just avoid TJ Miller. So like that kind of thing where it's enough of a known thing where women warn other women to like avoid that guy. So the alleged victim said she's coming out. Why? Because of the societal awakening that's happening. #MeToo. And they don't have her name, but they call her Sarah in the piece, so we'll do the same. So he has told friends over the years that he was wrongfully accused. Instead, he and his wife have cast themselves as the victims. You know, that, and he says she began to circulate rumors online that once my and Kate's relationship became public, sadly, she is now using the current climate to bandwagon and launch these false accusations again. It's unfortunate. She's choosing this route as it undermines the important movement to make women feel safe coming forward about legit claims against known predators. I read this story, and I'll give you some of the details, and it sounds like someone who's into some pretty wild shit in the bedroom, and partner is very, very inexperienced. He took her virginity, and so this relationship went on for a couple months, and it sounds like, oh, we're shit-faced, you know, maybe one of those. And so, yeah, they struck up a relationship. I guess they were in a comedy acting troupe together. And so a few months into the relationship, the first problem thing came up, and she says she had a lot to drink, and she wants to be clear about that she was really drunk. She stressed that it's important to me to cop to that. I'm not interested in forcing a pretend memory on anyone. 15 years later, I remain terrified of accusing someone of something they didn't do, but I have a visual and physical memory of that night.
I got you.
They were fooling around at her place, and then he just began shaking her wildly in the bed. And then for some reason, he decided, I'm going to punch her in the face.
What?
Yeah. Which is
That's what you do with a virgin, right?
Yeah, I know. It seems weird.
Ease her into it.
Maybe she passed out and he was trying to wake her up. You know what I mean? Like, would you slap the face, that's not working, water in the face, and then you resort to punching? I wouldn't, but, So anyways, she says she woke up the following morning with a fractured tooth and a bloody lip.
Dude.
Yeah. When she asked Miller about it, he was like, yeah, you fell down. You drunk last night. And so she was like, I was wanting to believe him. I knew that wasn't true, but I didn't really know anyone there. And he did take my virginity. So she still has this faith that, maybe it's a one-time weird thing. We're both drunk, whatever. So they soon meet at a college party, and they head back to the apartment that she had been renting with roommates. And so they start getting it on, which, no problem with that. We've all been there, right? We get back to the room and get it on time. We have
been there, yeah.
Then Miller got a little violent again. Oh, TJ. She emphasized, look, I had 2 drinks. I remember this night crystal clear. I know exactly what happened. We start fooling around. He puts his hands around my throat and closes them, and I couldn't breathe. I was genuinely terrified and completely surprised. I understand now that this is for some people a kink. She calls it a kink. And I continue to believe it is something that should be entered into by consenting parties. But as someone who had only begun having sex like 3 months earlier, I had no awareness of this kink. I was paralyzed. She was choking audibly to the point that her roommates could hear. And they rush over and they start knocking on her door, asking if everything's all right. And she's like, I don't know. I'll talk to you in the morning. And then he yanked me back to the bed, and more things happened. Dude, TJ...
there are people who don't want to do other things. If you want ice cream, you don't go to a barbecue shop.
What is your next move? Okay, if we pause in the story right here, Jay, okay? You and Gab, it's early in your relationship. Maybe you're trying to push the envelope a little bit. You start choking her a little bit. And she's choking so loudly that her roommates come to the door and, everything okay? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'll talk to you in the morning. And then you yank her back to the bed. What's your next move?
Yeah, maybe you back off a little bit. You ease up,
Pull up a little bit, yeah. What do you think? Like, do you have a conversation? Like, oh man, I'm sorry, I got a little carried away.
What's TJ's next move?
Jam his dick in her ass without asking.
Nice.
So yeah. Just, And this, she lost her virginity 3 months ago. This was the first time a noose had been in her butt. And so she's like, no! And so he was a gentleman. He pulled out, didn't go there. However, What's your next move now? Now that this has happened.
What's TJ's next move?
Well, I'll tell you what. What would your next move be? Would you back off more? Would you go missionary and just try to wrap things up?
I don't know, dude.
Well, TJ was drinking beer the whole time. He had a bottle, and so he decided now's a great time to shove a bottle in her vagine.
That would not be my next move.
Allegedly.
I don't. Yeah, allegedly. We should say that. Yeah, I don't know that would be my move either, especially without asking. Seems like something.
Allegedly.
Yeah. She froze. She was not prepared, and she did not want to believe it was happening. This went on for 5 hours. This is one of those marathon sloppy whiskey dick fucks, you know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So at 5 a.m. the next morning, she confided in her roommates and what had happened, and they're like, "Oh my God!" So the Daily Beast is who broke this story, and they interviewed these girls. You know, most of these girls had just been thrown into a room, didn't really know each other, so it was kind of this weird, like, I don't know, maybe she's into weird fucking wilds. I don't really know. And so, but these girls all confirmed, like, oh yeah, we remember hearing it and seeing her the next morning. One girl wanted to go to the police, another wanted to go to the hospital.
Wow.
So, you know, unless they're all full of shit, you know. So yeah. Anyways, it goes on. It was a rough night. I recall seeing bruises on Sarah. She declined to go to the police, and then shortly thereafter, you know, T.J. Miller and her relationship disintegrates. You know, he doesn't really see her. But they did meet once more days after that second night to talk about what had happened. And TJ was like, "Listen, it was a trust thing. I thought you was into it and shit. You know, I thought we were on the same page." And so that was it. And so she'd asked a couple mutual friends, like, and they're like, that's just TJ being TJ. He loves jamming bottles and vagines and stuff. So she doesn't want to go to the cops. And I love these you know, these university kangaroo courts where they have these student courts.
Yeah.
They did one of these for him. And so, you know, they're asking these people, and George Washington, spokesperson, wouldn't comment on this because of federal privacy laws. Were unable to provide information about current or former students. They did confirm he graduated in 2003. There's some rumor that he was expelled right after graduation, and that was kind of their way of like, well, he graduated, we've expelled him. Like, try to make peace with both sides. Right. Yeah, it was, but dude, think about this. So they had to testify in student court. TJ was there with a lawyer and his father. Oh, dude. When I read that, I was like, could you imagine?
Dad's hearing the allegations.
Oh, son, really?
At some
really?
point,
After
does your dad take you out in the hall? Like, did you really? Really?
Fuck, man. Like,
I whack her in the head?
Shit, dude. So you choked her. The roommates came to like, I want a high five you for getting something. Like, that's cool. High five. Boom. But, dude, you can't go right to the butthole without asking her after that. And certainly the bottle trick is off the table. Like, dude, I would be like,
come on, son.
I'd rather be like, nah, find me guilty in this kangaroo court. I don't want my dad hearing this.
Nowhere near it.
Dude, could you imagine you and your dad sitting there?
No.
How uncomfortable would that be?
This guy's a weirdo, though. I mean, you know, obviously these are all allegations, but if you watch the stand-up, honestly, you get a glimpse into. To me, again, I come back to the idea that this just wasn't like a nailed-down stand-up to me. To me, this dude had such an ego that he just stood up there and honestly just threw water on himself and just kind of went with it and thought that was gonna kill. Yeah, it's like you know, some of those guys in those comedy troupes. I think of Farley. Like, Farley wouldn't have been a great stand-up, I don't think, but he's a great physical comic. Like, and I kind of think of Erlich Bachman that way. Like, he's great for what obviously
he does.
That show is really well written. Because the lines he delivers are great.
Yeah,
and to watch this guy do the stand-up, and I've only seen him once, and I think we watched a little bit of him at a smaller show, and we were unimpressed. Well,
we knew he was. We were looking for him to come to town. We wanted to interview him, and so we were trying to watch some of his stuff, and both of us was like,
maybe it's an off night.
Oh yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Maybe he's gotten better. Yeah. And then we were kind of looking forward to that HBO thing. I remember the promo. I remember when the promo came, and he's soaked. And he keeps dousing himself with water, and I was just like, this doesn't seem like the typical comedy I'm going to get into.
Yeah.
You know, like that, okay, whatever. I really like him on that show, though. So anyway, he and his wife have made this comment. We met this woman over a decade ago while studying together in college. She attempted to break us up back then by plotting for over a year before making contradictory claims and accusations. She was asked to leave our university comedy group because of worrisome and disturbing behavior, which angered her immensely. She then became fixated on our relationship and began telling people around campus, "I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to ruin them."
It's possible. There's weirdos on that side of it, too.
Sure. You know, I think it would be hard after that many years to get to locate roommates that you really didn't even know, though, who are now scattered across the country, and have them back up your story, you know? But, yeah, it doesn't mean that she didn't just make it up. Tell them that, and then they go, yeah, I remember her talking about it, you know? So who knows? Who knows?
Hey, this segment's brought to you by Mayor and Company Accountants. If you dread your personal or business taxes as much as you dread a night of love-making with T.J. Miller, let Kyle Mayer handle all that shit for you. Kyle's a pro. You can trust him. Don't waste your time trying to figure out all those damn tax forms, numbers, and deductions. Leave it all to Kyle. Call him today, 248-521-0016. And if you're one of the first 100 TDC listeners to contact him, you get the special price of $69. But even if you're not in that lucky 100, tell him the DetroitCast sent you. You'll get 10% off your tax prep bill.
Hey, do you remember the name Jared Hayne?
Oh, remind me.
He played for the 49ers for a year, a year ago. He was known as the best rugby player in the world.
Okay.
And then he was like, fuck it, I think I could play pro football. It doesn't look that hard.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, and then he came over here and like made the team. He had like a decent preseason, and it was like, holy shit, is this guy that's never played football in his life going to be able to walk onto an NFL field? So it was a nice story. He's been accused of.
Oh, Jared.
I know. He's back in Australia, and he's playing rugby again, I guess.
Oh, Jaredford.
Yeah, but he apparently this chick was a virgin, and one of those like knew some people, worked at a bar. I'm imagining this chick was hot as shit, you know, 25, 24, working at a bar, and knew some friends who knew some people, and like after a game against the Bengals, they say in Santa Clara, they all met at this bar, and she's like, look, I was fucked up, more than I've ever been fucked up. And so Jared's like, oh, yeah. She's like, had no contact with him really at all. It was just basic, like didn't know him, anything. And he's like, well, I'll get an Uber. I'll take her home.
Yeah, he saw the weak gazelle.
Yeah, the limping animal. And so he decides to take her and basically carry her into the house. And then she says something like, I woke up to extreme vagine pain. As it sounds like he just was like, fuck it, I'm going in hard, and just hammered the shit out of it. And she says, she, in the morning she like grabbed her stuff and had to get out of there. Her vagine was on fire, and she looks down and the sheets are all bloody. Her vagine is bloody, so God only knows what the hell he did there.
I mean, that tickles a pussy.
Or not.
Yeah, not. So yeah, he at one point she went in to kiss him, and he's like, no, we do not kiss. And he turned her around and put her face down on the bed. I mean, he was just like, no, the hole's down here. That's all I care about is the hole. I don't care about you.
And that's your introduction to sex.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then would you think that would result in a painful vagine for years, though?
Dude, I don't know.
I don't know how those things
E.
work. E, what do you think? Because I just noticed in her complaint that, she has suffered from a very painful vagine.
They are mysterious lady parts.
I know.
Full of mystery.
Yeah. Well, toxic shock is one of the things that I think of with damaged vagines.
Yeah. So many folds, so many holes, so much pH level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Well, remember the chick we talked about, the model that we talked about that left that tampon in for way too long, and they found her like face down. She'd shit herself. She's thrown up. Yeah. And her mom and the cops came in. I think we said at the time that they just grabbed that string and dragged her out of the room, took her to the hospital. She was minutes from death. They said she ended up getting a leg amputated. Yeah. And she had gangrenous toes. Oh. So they cut her toes off on the other foot and her heel from leaving a tampon in too long.
She has a hoof now?
I guess. And so she, I have the story here because there's an update on it.
So she has a single hoof.
That's what it sounds like. She's still modeling. And the crazy thing is, she's modeling for a shoe, like Kohl's shoes or something.
Of course.
And I was like, what? That seems almost mean to have her doing that, This chick, look at those toes. I know, just...
Dude.
Yeah, I know.
They're just
now. It's not like that now.
Oh.
Look at that, E.
They're gangrenous.
They are.
I bet they stink.
She says my left foot hasn't opened. This is now.
That's what could have happened, man. Had we not gotten a hold of that sooner, and got you to the doctor, sir.
Maybe so.
That's right.
Well, how you looking, by the way? Do we need a checkup?
No, I'm not. I'm not taking my shoes off.
All right,
so.
for any new listeners, Isis unveiled an unbelievable foot. I don't know, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, at least.
His toenails were a wreck. I mean, it looked like a monster foot.
Yeah.
It looked hot.
You would picture it on if you think of like a 500-year-old wizard, I think we said at the time, like the toenails of a 500-year-old wizard.
The toenails were just coming out every which way. They were pointed. They were yellowed. They were brownish. They were ingrown. The toes.
Remember the one had a half moon, like going reverse, where
Yeah.
it was like, you know, when you've got like a little, like you don't trim it the right way, and you put a sock on and it catches a thread, and it's like
the worst.
Oh, it's nails on a chalkboard.
It's worse
bad.
than nails on a chalkboard.
It is, dude. Why is that?
I don't know.
Like the nail shouldn't bother you, but dude, when I put a sock on and catch
thread.
E had a thread stuck in it that just lived there.
But his feet were infected. You know, he had some story about stubbing a toe, and then he had to ignore it. But these feet were a wreck, athlete's foot, the whole 9 yards. And I'm glad he unveiled it because we were able to shame him into going to a doctor, and the doctor's been treating it for what, a year and a half now? A year?
I guess, yeah.
So where are we now? Can we see?
No, I'm not showing you my toe. No, I'm not doing it.
I want to see the progress.
I don't care. I'm not doing it. No. I'm not showing
that speaks volumes.
I want to see the progress
No,
or
I don't
lack
have to do
theregive.
shit.
It will speak to the talent of your doctor.
Will you admit there's a lack of progress, that you've taken a step backwards?
No, I will not admit that, and I won't do it. I don't owe anything.
Are you putting the balm on? Are you still putting the balm on? The doctor said to put the balm on every day.
I do think I need to look at doing something more serious, but
let's see where we're at.
No.
Do they look
I'm
like
not
this?
Doing it. Now I'm definitely not fucking
Do they look
doing
like
it.
that?
That's
No,
where they're headed.
They do not
That's
look
where
like
they're
that.
headed.
They look better than that.
All right.
You're welcome for us saving your toes.
I'm not-
That's
Right.
That's where they're
He
headed.
did thank us at one point, like, dude, if you guys wouldn't have brought it up, I would have done nothing
I don't know
about it.
that I didn't thank you guys. I just said it's funny how things happen.
Everything happens for a reason.
By the way, women, the tampon boxes say every 4 to 8 hours you're supposed to like pop that thing out.
How long should you have that thing in there?
I don't know. I guess women sometimes will get lazy and just go to bed with that
Didn't
thing
we
in there.
resolve they use like 40 of them a day?
I think so, yeah.
Well, that's what the scientists at NASA resolved.
That's right.
Yes,
They're
that
sending a
do.
woman to space, and they're like, yeah, okay, she's going to be up there 7 days. What she need, about 280?
1,000. I think they sent like 1,000 tampons. She's like, what the fuck do these guys think? These nerds? They think I need 1,000 tampons for a week-long trip into space?
They're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I just
Whatever.
know. I just know it's going to bleed out of it.
Yeah, you're going to bleed or something from your hole, so we just sent up enough to just keep plugging it over and over. And so, yeah, dude, imagine that for this mom. She's doing a wellness check, like, I can't get a hold of my daughter, and then walks in and finds her vomit, shit. They drag her to the hospital, moments from death, 107-degree fever. She's in a coma. And, yeah, so an infectious disease doctor ordered to check. So they were like, infectious disease guy, get in there and see if there's a tampon in there. And so he went in and he was like, yep, as I suspected, toxic shock.
He went in with salad tongs.
I guess. And so, yeah, you know, her life's been... So now she's saying the reason there's an update here is she says that other leg has to go.
Damn,
So they're taking
man.
that one. But she says, dude, without a heel and toes, everything is terribly painful.
All she has is a hoof.
Yeah.
It's like having a peg leg, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It hasn't stopped her modeling career at all. She's landed modeling jobs at Nordstrom's holiday shoe collection.
A single peg leg. Think about that.
I know.
So you're just bouncing around. Could they make it a pogo stick leg?
Sure.
That'd be
I
kinda
suppose they
fun.
could. Yeah, why not?
Be like, no, I don't need a prosthetic on the second leg. Just make my hoof into a pogo stick.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's... Would you want that? I would go the Blade Runner route. There she is, by the way. Let's see her.
Yeah.
What a terrible story, though. You know what? I learned something fascinating, and you may already know this, Jay, but I learned last weekend that when women take a whiz and they're on that time of the month, I was like,
It's like a thumb over a garden hose.
so you got to pop that thing out when
Mike,
you go
it's
whiz.
a different hole.
I know, but it's in this vicinity. You don't, dude. You can leave that thing in and whiz.
So does this string like dip down in the water?
I don't know.
Does it like wick up? So you got a bunch of toilet water wicking up into your vagina?
Probably, yeah, and at least water splash because you know how violent.
How
that
long
thing
is that string? About 4 feet.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes you see them down their pant leg, right?
Yeah, it's really embarrassing. It's like us when you step on toilet paper
Yeah.
and it's on your shoe. Like when you see the wick hanging out the bottom of a jean pant leg. Dude, it's like, that time of the month for her.
No, other than the wicking aspect, why would you have to take it out of the hole, Mike?
I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
probably a prime time to take it out and change it, right?
Why
I mean,
not?
there you are dealing with the vagine,
Yeah.
the vaginal area.
I don't know. I just
the region.
figured. So where here? Let's do a little.
Like-
Usually this is for E. Draw a nice vagine.
Okay,
That's
you
a
got
whole.
the,
You got the
bean
bean
up here. That's
and we're not doing a hope
key to
solo
life right there.
Yeah.
All right, so you got.
So where do you whiz?
right here? Little
Okay, there's a little
urethra.
dot
There's a
right
little,
there.
Little urethra, and then there's the.
So-
That's where the magic happens.
So if you've got a super absorbent in here,
Yeah.
and it's stuffed in there, and
It's
then
in
you got a
there.
wick.
Yeah, you can just pee out of the thumb
I
over
would
guard.
just think, like it's so violent and loud. I would think you'd risk like.
Oh yeah, it could
get-
wick down onto your string there too.
And if it gets on the wick, and then you know how water absorbed in toilet in paper or stuff like that, it like expands.
Yeah, the wicking aspect.
If the urine gets into the base of the tampon, you're talking about getting urine particles into the vaginal hole via the tampon.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just I would recommend popping that thing out before you whiz.
Yeah, ladies, that's our recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, and I'm not saying maybe that's what happened to the model. Maybe that's how the toxic shock started. I don't know.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, at this point,
Mixed with conjecture.
I think we're on it. Dude, interesting story out of New England today, and the Patriots camp.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of this like guru?
Oh, I'm familiar with TB12.
Yeah,
That's where you're going.
It is sort of TB12, but also Alex Guerrero, the guy that's like.
I think he's the guy who runs TB12. Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
he's like Brady's best friend.
Yeah.
He's his godfather to his
physical
son.
guru.
Yeah,
He's the guy who's kept Brady as pliable.
right.
And that's their big message. I've read part of that TB12 book. You know?
Yeah.
And he's gotten hugely criticized because of the sunscreen thing. Did you read that part?
No.
Where he's like, "Oh, I don't get sunburned because I drink however many ounces a day," and everybody's like, "What?" Because they're just
Yeah.
scanning this thing for a stupid statement like that, so they can go, "It's bullshit."
Yeah.
Don't believe anything he's saying.
Well-
but the whole thing is about pliability of your muscles. Like that's the whole. Which,
So-
dude, if you had somebody who could massage all your muscles like
Yeah.
every day and help you with pliability, fuck. I mean, yeah, I got to believe that'll extend your career, right?
Well, part of it too is like guys will get in the gym and just fucking get as huge as I can. And I think his thought is, it's not about how big you can make your muscle. It's strength and pliability, like you're talking about.
Flexibility, pliability.
Yeah.
That's not a new concept, but
Right.
the pliability aspect is what he's really pushing and what this guru like is pushing big time.
Well, I love these weirdos that like everyone's kind of looking out the corner of their eye like, oh boy, the kook's back here, you know. And you know he the FTC commission, the Federal Trade Commission in 2005 fired Guerrero for pretending to be a real doctor and for pushing Supreme Greens, which was a cure for cancer, heart disease, arthritis, diabetes. I'm assuming fibromyalgia.
Why don't you level with me then?
And it was a weight loss fix-all. Can you imagine, dude, this magic drink?
Boy, you cure cancer.
Yeah,
and
diabetes
That's
and weight
something.
loss. It's incredible. Well, the news comes out today that he is no longer welcome in the
Belichick's
Patriots
had
facility.
enough.
Belichick's like, fuck this guy. And he's not allowed on the sidelines for games anymore. He's had his credentials taken. He's no longer allowed in the facility and can't go on the plane, the team plane, or anything.
Wonder what was the straw that broke the dromedary's back. You know?
I don't know, but he still has TB12. Like that's a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Like right down the street from you could walk there in 10 minutes from where they practice and play games, you know? And so there's a lot of guys that they're like, well, we can't stop them from going there. But I guess what was the problem was, so they say, I was reading this in the Boston Globe this morning, but there's team doctors and trainers, and they are working with these athletes. You know, they're finely tuned, their diets, everything about them. And these guys are like, I've got this guy on a strict fucking plan, and now old kook over here has him fucking changing his shit up.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine how frustrating that would be if
Well, he's got his own plan. I can imagine various doctors and trainers would have their own plans.
And they're actual doctors. This guy's not a doctor. You know, the fact of the matter, I mean...
It's more of a mobility expert is what he is. He's
Yeah.
like a sports medicine, physical therapist kind of guy.
Yeah. But the reason this has been eggshells, there's one reason. Because it's fucking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's the only reason anybody's put up with any of this shit is because it's Tom Brady. And so I don't know what broke the dromedary's back. I don't know what it was, but I saw like Robert Kraft. People were talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's Tom, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Walking on eggshells.
it's the franchise. So what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do about it? The owner of the team can't stand up to Tom Brady.
Well, it's that, and it's also if it's working for Tom,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously something's working for Tom,
Right.
Whether it's voodoo or not, it's working
Yeah.
for Tom. So you don't want to get in the way of that. But this dude
Yeah.
must be incredibly annoying to have
Yeah.
gotten to this point where they're kicking him out.
Well, they noticed that he wasn't on the sidelines. Like, he's such a presence on the sidelines and stuff. And just like going back to my other point, imagine like everything is so dialed in. Like these players, their day-to-day during the football season is very, very regimented. Like they don't, like there's no room for it. It's like meeting here, eat here, da-da-da, be here. Like it's all very, it's very, very specific, and it's getting more specific by the year. And so if you've got doctors and trainers that are putting people on regiments that are now being sidestepped by this guy and going to the coach, that would be enough for Belichick, because they say in here Belichick supports his doctors and trainers.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would find it incredibly hard to keep fighting that battle for TB12's guru over here, giving Tom glass full of, wheat germ and thinking it's the cure-all for everything. But a lot of these guys are going there. Gronkowski is a big one, and they're like, well, his problem is he's always injured, and this year he's still playing in week 16, 15, so...
He's never been sunburned.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story.
Mike, the snow is finally falling, and our friends at Zot,
What?
Zot M59 Chrysler Jeep and DealsOnTheD.com have an unheard of offer right now during their big finish event of 2017. You can purchase or lease a new 17 Jeep Wrangler for $1,000 below dealer invoice. Nobody discounts Jeep Wranglers but the crazy crew at Zot M59 Chrysler Jeep. So if you've ever dreamed of riding the trails in your fresh Jeep Wrangler, now's the time.
Hey, did you see that breaking news last night about Insane Clown Posse?
No. Oh, they lost their case, right?
Yeah. Dude, I'm shocked at that.
I don't remember the issues. I wish you would have showed me that specifically so we could talk about it. Let's talk about it after the break.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Because I got something else I want to show you anyways. Remember? Oh, man. Remember the chick who, and her boyfriend who, they wanted to be YouTube stars, and
she shot him right through a book
with a 50 cal.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like, oh, this book is gonna stop the bullet.
Yeah, shoot me.
They were morons. Remember that? We pulled up the YouTubes and they had like 30 views, and they were just. She was enamored with this guy.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God, look at him. And he's like hanging from monkey bars.
Yeah.
He's so crazy.
Yeah, they thought they were going to be huge hits on YouTube. Well, she's pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter in the death of her boyfriend. Mona Lisa Perez is her name. She's expected to be sentenced to, what do you think is fair for that? Because I have mixed emotions on this case. You know what I mean? 15 years?
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's not going to do that. And I'm fine with that. She's expected to be sentenced to 180 days, followed by 10 years of probation.
Fuck.
Pedro Ruiz III is the one she shot.
They took pity on the moronic nature of this chick.
Totally. They did. She told police that Ruiz had asked her to fire a bullet from a 50 cal Desert Eagle pistol. It was captured on 2 cameras. Police say they're not going to release the video. There was the 3-year-old daughter was in the room at the time, Ayla,
Perfect.
which is great. You always want to have a 3-year-old around the room when you're firing a 50 cal Desert Eagle pistol into your boyfriend.
Well, the book was going to stop it.
Yeah, of course it was.
It was
This
thick.
is gonna be a hell.
It was super thick.
Wasn't there a guy that died? Like he went and bought. Weren't we doing that story a couple years ago?
Yes.
But a guy that put like
He bought what he thought was
bulletproof vest on.
Dude, it was just a hunting vest.
Yeah, it was basically like a catcher's chest protector. And he's like, come on, he was at the bar drunk, and he was like, come on, dude, will you shoot me?
Yeah, it was in England. I remember that. Some bloke took the gun. He's like, okay, and he whacked him.
Yeah, I think the guy went to one of those like army surplus stores where they don't sell actual like military grade or police grade. And so he fucking blew a hole in his buddy's chest, and they were sentencing him too. And I think he got a few years for that.
Yes, he should have.
Prior to the shooting, Perez had tweeted, "Me and Pedro are probably going to shoot one of the most dangerous videos ever. His idea, not mine." They think they're just going to blow up. She's also banned from possessing firearms, which I don't know. To me, it's like, look, they were dumb. They were just dumb. If you want to keep a gun from her because she's dumb, okay. But I don't think of her as like a violent threat who needs to.
Dude, this goes to Rude Jude's point from yesterday when he just talked about how the average person is just dumb.
Yeah.
And look at these are human beings. We have to make this big deal like humans are so amazing. There's a lot of really, really dumb ones.
And we've made it acceptable to like
one of them.
I'm not this dumb.
And he at least recognizes it, you know. But we've made it. We've gotten to this point where we've made it so easy for people to show the world how special we all are. And the fact is, most of us are C's. Most of us are just C's. There's as many D's and E's as there are A's and B's,
if not more.
Yeah, I would peg myself as a C. I would say E is a D, J maybe an A minus. But most people are on that fucking C level. We're just getting through it. But we all seem to think we're special. We all deserve. I say that speaking into a microphone with people listening. I understand it. It's ironic. But these people had 218 subscribers to their YouTube channel. And in their last video together at the playground, Perez says, "Imagine when we have 300,000 subscribers." No, sir, you're never. I'm sorry.
Then what, Perez?
I mean, maybe you could get 300,000 views of if you get the video of your girl shooting you to
if
death.
the cops release that.
Maybe you could get 300,000 views, but not subscribers.
No.
Subscribers, that means they really
wanna
like
see
you
more.
and they want more. In fact, notify me when Ruiz the Third puts more up. I need to see it. I just don't see that happening. By the way, I thought this was interesting too. She is a young mom of two, and so she'll serve out half of her jail term in increments of 30 days per year for the next 3 years. The remainder of the sentence could be waived and just do home monitoring.
It's incredible.
I know.
She should be sitting there for 15 years. That's absurd.
Can we take a quick look back at her?
Sure. She's brutal, man. Oh, there he is. Oh, my God, he's on the swing set. He's crazy.
No way. This can't be happening is the title of the video. I feel bad
Aren't
for
they
him
in
because
South Dakota or some shit?
Minnesota, I think.
Okay.
I feel bad because they honestly believe that there's something like crazy wild about him.
Yeah.
It is. And he's not doing anything special. There's no way he's going to make a living off his YouTube channel or her. And they're starting a family, and it ends tragically.
They
It ends
didn't
in
deserve
death.
to die.
No, but these videos, I remember at the time just like, oh, you poor thing. You actually think there's talent here. Oh, shit.
What do we got, E?
Babe is trying to get abs.
These are YouTube.
He's on the top of a child's swing set.
You ready?
Trying to get
Yep.
abs.
Oh, my God. He's
No.
gonna... He's...
No way.
No.
No way.
He's not going to do this.
Babe.
This is all balance.
This is 0 views is what this is.
Dude, any one of us right now could do that.
What balance? It's not even taking.
Hold on, honey bunny.
It's not even taking upper body
Shut up,
strain.
kid. Shut up, kid. I'm recording your dad, the genius.
Look at the bird bath in the
My
back.
focus level is so high right now.
Yeah, do birds really bathe in
It's
those?
unbelievable.
I don't think so.
Like, do birds
You
seek that
gotta
out to go
be.
bathe?
A bird just flew
Just
by.
flew
it.
by. Passed
Literally
it by.
in the
He's like,
video.
whatever.
Did you hear him, by the way, when we were talking there, when he said, "My focus is so high right now"?
Wait, I want to get to the kayaking. You remember the kayaking?
But, dude,
Is it possible they're strung out on something?
I don't think so. Oh,
I mean, that's.
Oh my gosh, babe. Good job.
I know.
not, yeah.
I know. I couldn't do what he just did, but that's not that big of a deal.
High five. He deserves
Remember, this was his kayaking.
Yes. She's
Oh my
so amazed by this.
so they
What's that weigh? 28 pounds? Look at him.
He's got a kayak and he's just going to hop on a local river.
Such a workout muscle man over here.
You carry kayaks from
Yes,
a car
I
to a
could.
river.
I could actually carry a kayak.
28 to 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Even if that was hard, not remarkable anyways,
No.
or interesting. Even if it was really hard
Here
to
he
carry
goes
a kayak.
down the boat launch. He's gonna put it in the
You
water
look
and
so
then
cute.
It looks like, yeah, wait till we have 300,000 subscribers.
there he goes.
So cute, babe. Oh.
This should
This
be
is who I
relegated.
need to find. This girl. This is a girl like, dude.
Easily impressed.
If I could find a girl that was this impressive, just that he's kayaking.
Dude, just wait 180 days.
Oh my gosh, he's showing off. Look at it.
Look at him.
Showing off.
Superstar.
Is it possible she's retarded and/or high on something?
I don't think, I'm not hearing anything that sounds really high to me. I'm not saying they
It's
aren't.
just so
but,
unreasonable. It's so
Showing
over the
off.
top.
What is
yeah,
he
but
doing?
Love
she's
you. Bye.
she's 20, and she's probably been taught her whole life how amazing she is, and she shows a video like this to friends.
Okay, guys. And now I have to climb up this hill. And I have to pee so bad.
Up this hill.
It's a boat launch. It's not a hill.
It's like a 1% grade.
I think she's
1%.
kidding here, right?
I bet Aaliyah's so mad at us because we left her in the car. Hi.
Oh, you left your little girl in a hot
Yeah.
car. Nice.
Why would
good
she want to
point.
go down by the river and see Dad go kayaking?
Oh, they spawned.
I know.
Damn
You
it.
couldn't have gone because it was only a one-seater and you need a life jacket.
Oh, that's
You
why.
can't go into that river
Yeah.
without a
Quit
life jacket.
bitching. You're in the way. We're trying to get famous. Aaliyah.
That's just the law and the rules.
Yeah, I remember we watched more of this at some point. It was like, oh my God, babe, we're going to be so famous.
I think that
like
was
they
the-
were really, really
Yeah.
believing and thinking they were going to be huge YouTube stars. And I don't think people understand just how difficult that is to climb out of the mass of a billion videos. It's literally winning the fucking super lotto.
Yeah.
Jay and I could attest to a lot of hard work, and doing something decent does not mean you're going to get out of the pile. And so when you see absolute mediocrity, and that's being generous because her boy died. When you see absolute mediocrity and you go, oh no, you don't honestly think.
Nothing unique about it. No talent whatsoever. But
None.
just film it and put it out there, and people.
We're not remarkably good looking. We don't have steel blue eyes like, your boy, the hot felon.
Right. Jeremy Meeks. God damn it. Why do I know that guy's name? Jeremy Meeks.
Oh, you are never going to be asked to plug something on your YouTube channel. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry. Anyway. Yeah, crazy. Poor girl. We'll have to keep up with her as we go
wonder if
forward.
the- I wonder if the
I'm
channel will
fascinated
continue.
by it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, what happens to the channel?
How many views does that have now? Have other people stumbled onto
Well,
this?
yeah. I
Pedro
mean,
would have wanted it to continue. You know what I mean?
this is a bad
This
example.
could be good news. I mean, if they've got 1 million views now or something.
This is a bad example because it has 185,000 views, but that's,
It's because of the news story
Right.
for sure.
Oh,
course
you
it is.
think?
There's no way in hell that gets more than 20 watches.
And it's going to pick up another 50,000 views today because of the updated news story. People go, oh, I remember those
yeah,
assholes.
check it out.
Cool. Interesting story I've had for a couple days, Jay, that we haven't really talked about. And
Look at the description in this, by the way.
I love when he cuts me off in
I'm
mid-sentence.
sorry. I can't help it. The description of their vlog.
This vlog is all about craziness, all caps.
Winky face.
Watch and find out what happens. Thank you, everyone, for the love and support. We appreciate you all loves.
Grab a snack and enjoy.
That's, yeah.
Grab a snack.
The comment says, they should do a shoot through a book challenge. That would be fucking sick. Seriously. Is she single or not? Could I get an answer on that? What a dick face. Yeah, I imagine the comments are not going to be terribly nice. There's going to be a lot of shooting your man jokes.
It's going to be too painful for her to continue.
Maybe. I told you, Jay, that I firmly believe in ETs and UFOs.
Yeah, that naval pilot, right? He came out.
Dude. Yeah, and that's what was that documentary I watched? Was it undocumented or something on Netflix?
Don't remember, Mike.
Dude, I wanted you to watch it.
Unacknowledged? Wasn't that
Unacknowledged. That might be it. It's fascinating. Gets a little weird at the end, but dude, all the people in really, really high level positions that are just like, oh yeah, oh hell yeah, UFOs are real. Blink 182, Tom DeLonge,
Oh,
quit Blink 182.
Perfect. John Podesta.
Dude, I heard him, Rogan interviewed him, and I was like, oh, I like Tom DeLonge. I like Blink 182.
Oh, not anymore.
I like
Oops.
UFOs. And, dude, he sounds like an insane person. I mean, I know,
sucks.
and maybe he's 100% right.
All the
Small things. Dude, I couldn't, like, I'm listening to him try to school me on UFOs and all these people and departments that he's working with, and I'm just like, dude, you are the guy that wrote, it's Labor Day and my grandpa just ate 7 fucking hot dogs. Labor Day and my grandpa just ate 7 fucking hot dogs, and he shit his pants. He's always fucking shit his pants.
But he did cleverly name his album "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket."
That's a great name.
Yeah. E never got that until we explained it to him.
Not until you guys explained it to me, but it took me a while.
Take off your pants and jacket. It's a great name. Is that
gold.
punnery? Is that punnery at its finest?
It's well done.
Yeah, it took E a long time to figure out. Oh man, he's talking about taking off your pants and then jacking your dick. I get it. So anyway, there was a big announcement last weekend from the Department of Defense that, by the way, in secret, we've got this UFO program.
Had it, yeah.
For the existence, trying to find it, dedicated to investigating UFO sightings. The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program was launched a decade ago at the urging of Harry Reid, who's the Senate Majority Leader. The top secret program operated under the radar with a $22 million budget for some 5 years with the blessing of former senators, one out of Hawaii and one out of Alaska. This was so-called black money. One of the guys knows about it. The other one knows about it, but that was it. That's how we wanted it. Intelligence official Luis Elizondo ran the alien investigation team in a section of the Pentagon far away from its busiest quarter. Officials spent countless hours studying video and audio of reported UFO encounters, including footage from that Navy FA-18 Hornet, Super Hornet, showing an aircraft surrounded by a glowing aura flying in an odd pattern at lightning speed. Those are the videos that get me. When you see a pilot going, dude, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to have Farmer Ray in his backyard going, oh, I swear to God, something flew by. It was crazy. Whatever. But, dude, if you're flying a Super Hornet and going, am I the only one seeing this? Be like, nah, dog, I see it too.
Familiar with anything on this earth that can move like that.
Yeah. And did you see that little video? I mean, it's black and white, and there is a little aura around it, and it's turning weird, and these guys are going, hauling balls in a jet, and this thing's right there with them. I mean, it's crazy. I just don't think all of those guys, all those respected pilots and military officials would lie about this or, be conned by this. So they did end up taking the funds away from this program. They had more pressing earthly matters to deal with. But
they don't want us to know.
This Elizondo guy said the only thing that ended was the government's funding. We kept working on the program with officials from the Navy and the CIA. Reid, for his part, considers the program to be among his finest achievements. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed or sorry I got this thing going. I think it's one of the good things I did in my congressional service. I've done something that no one has done before. And Tom DeLonge, for his part, he's trying to get it's funny. He's not working with nobodies. He's got a group together. Hold on, let me put my glasses back on.
Yeah.
Let's see. He left Blink 182 for this. He's the founder of To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. He's working with former high-ranking officials from the Department of Defense, CIA, NSA, and Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works aerospace program.
What do you picture when you hear the phrase "working with" blah 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 blah? What do you picture? That can mean anything, dude.
Yes.
That can mean like sending them an email and them going, "Oh yeah, cool."
No, I don't get the feeling that it's that. I know what you're saying because he's obviously not an aerospace
and you just
engineer.
told me he was on Joe Rogan and he sounded like a nut. So
well,
so is he not a nut?
He sounds like a nut in the context of this, where it's like all these secret programs and agencies, and when you hear someone going on about the CIA's been covering, you just sound like a fucking kook. But I'm not saying it's not right or that these people don't respect him and believe in him. I mean, maybe he's the guy that they go, fuck it, if we need press, the small things, he can get it for us. So yeah, let him in the circle. So he says he's one of his partners is Luis Elizondo, who we just read in the other story.
His partners.
Yep. Who ran the Pentagon's top secret UFO investigation program. That was what was revealed by the New York Times last Saturday. According to DeLonge, disclosures like that are only the tip of the spear. DeLonge claims the U.S. government has not only known about the existence of alien life for decades, but they've also been actively experimenting with alien technologies. I know it's fun to make snarky comments, but this isn't the kind of thing to joke about. This is going to really affect a lot of people and a lot of people's belief systems. And so they've got 3 divisions, aerospace, science, and entertainment. I imagine Tom's probably in charge of the science one. No, aerospace. He'll attempt to bring transformative science and engineering out of the shadows, free from the restrictions of the government. So they're trying to raise money so they can keep this out in the public. They want this shit open. And, you know, part of the thing that I found interesting in that documentary was when they were talking about some of the technologies that like, you shouldn't be able to have a ship that doesn't leave a trail when it's going through space. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you see rocket blasters, and these things can move around like that. And so it's like, what technology do they have? And so some of the rumors are that when they found this stuff, they're finding metals and components that they've never seen before. And so they're trying to back engineer them. What? Like something that's crashed on Earth, you know, a UFO that's been in hiding now, whether it's at Area 51, whatever.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so they've got these things. And one of the guys who seemed very credible to me, he was the one talking about, you know, shit, I won't remember exactly, but was talking about how there's enough energy in a tiny little bit of this that you could literally power the globe with very little of this. And they don't want you doing that because there's so much money made off blah, 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 blah. But he's like, you could literally stop famine across the world and supply water. I know, see? But you haven't watched it. I watched the documentary. Watch it. Do me a favor and watch it.
I'm not watching a one-sided documentary about the existence of aliens. I did read the account of this.
I hate you,
this
fucking
most
lawyer.
recent.
You lawyer. I want both sides of the story.
Well, I read an account by this naval pilot just the other day, and maybe that's what you just described, but I took it differently. He was describing like a tic-tac shaped thing.
Yeah.
And it would move backward, forward, side to side, up and down in a way that, you know, he just had never seen before. And he's flying a training mission with another guy, and the other pilot's commenting the same thing. They're radioing back to their base or wherever, I think a ship that was below them or something.
See if you can find the video.
They're saying it as well. And then what he also said was that the thing seemed to hover over the water and was scanning something below the water, but yet there wasn't like any rustling of the water or any upset of the water that would happen if there was a helicopter or any sort of, engine above it, which he noted, which, you know, obviously not of this world if that's the case.
Well, I suppose anything's possible. You know, like I can make, like if I get a red laser pointer, I can make that dot.
You could make pants like, jump up on the wall.
And
he would be, yeah.
And dude, that thing looks like it's going at light speed. And so if someone was shooting a red laser pen up into the sky and these guys were seeing that, it might confuse them. So maybe that's what, I'm not saying that's not what it was.
Pilots know exactly what a laser pointer looks like. In fact, that's a thing where people are being arrested for pointing them at pilots.
Yeah, but you can't point it at the pilot. It's got to be like flying next to him.
Oh.
So you got to map it onto a cloud or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they would know too. Can you find that video, E?
Is that a different guy than what you just referred to? Because that's what caught my eye. This guy who just came out, this naval pilot, and reported this tic-tac shaped object.
See, tic-tac is like an oval. This one was kind of like triangular almost. Yeah, that's it, E. That's it. Following videos, an encounter between a Navy F-A-18, Super Hornet, and an unknown object released by the Defense Department. Raw footage has been declassified. Go ahead, E. Because you could hear these guys like, man, what badass would that be to be in one of those jets?
Yeah, that's a fucking drone, bro.
It's a fucking drone, bro.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
See the aura they're talking about?
Sure. I mean,
they're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
Look at that thing, dude.
Yeah, it's sort of like looking at an ultrasound a little bit. Like you need some context. I see the clouds obviously.
Though, is it? It's not. It is on us, dude.
It's like
well, if there's look at that thing.
See how it's turning now?
I guess that might be described as a tic-tac. See, that's my thing. If everybody's describing the same thing, then that gives it credence, right? But if we're seeing all these different objects from farmers to pilots and all that, then you go, okay, could it be something else that these people are seeing?
So that's compelling. And the fact that the guys who are reporting that is compelling to me. I do agree with a lot of people who go, you know what, man? It was one thing when you captured Bigfoot 80 years ago, and it's on this grainy, shitty, wobbly video. But nowadays, cameras are so damn good. You would think if there was anything out there, like, the whole globe is captured on camera nowadays. Like
maybe the
high
aliens
def.
disable those.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Not saying that's not possible.
Because in the account I read, the pilot was like, "Yeah, I couldn't see it on the radar, but I went infrared, and that's when I could see it."
Really? So they're using invisible technology. So that's like a Wonder Woman
They're
situation.
jamming shit.
Wow.
With strawberry.
I was just going to say, we saw Lord Helmet do that. Yep.
Well, actually, Lord Helmet didn't do it. Lord Helmet is the one who got jammed.
It's not Lord Helmet. It's Dark Helmet.
Or Dark Helmet, but I'm trying to.
Yes. They did get jammed.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Who was? I don't remember who was the quote unquote like Luke character's name. I don't even remember.
Yeah. I love Comb in the Desert. And then they get the black guy with the pick.
You would love Comb in the Desert.
Comb in the Desert. They got those giant
I
combs.
ain't seen shit.
I found nothing, sir. I found nothing either. The black guy with a pick. I ain't found shit. All right, let's take a quick break. Dude, we got to get to E.
Oh.
And then we have to look at the Insane Clown Posse and
Sure.
see what happened there. So we got more to do. We'll be back in a minute.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hi everyone, this is Kelly Menino, your event coordinator for the Hamlin Pubs. Did you know that Hamlin Pubs offer 2 private rooms at each location, both located in Shelby Township? We specialize in all kinds of events, from bridal and baby showers, dinner rehearsals, to corporate luncheons and wedding receptions. My team is committed to making your occasion your most memorable event. Give me a call today so that we can plan your next event. Call me at 586-596-1425 or visit our website at hamlinpubs.com.
Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. And before we get to Big E's history, I'm hoping we're going to learn something cool today. I'd mentioned the Insane Clown Posse and
a legal setback.
Yeah, you wanted to look at it a little bit more before we talked about it, just to kind of get your head around, like, okay, what was going on in the courtroom that happened yesterday? Because it kind of broke late yesterday, but a federal appeals court dismissed the lawsuit by ICP and their fans against the Department of Justice for labeling them a loosely organized hybrid gang. And you and I kind of got familiar with this story because we interviewed Steve Miller, who did a great book on,
Juggalos.
Yeah, on ICP.
You can find that book in our bookstore, by the way, DetroitCast.com.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of local references. People that are from the area here where we're at will recognize it. It was a great book. He's a good writer.
I had little to no interest in Juggalos prior to that, and I liked the book.
Yeah, and I was really bothered by the gang label. I remember this going on in the 80s, where it was like, Ozzy Osbourne's a devil worshiper, and things like that, where it was like Tipper Gore in front of Congress trying to get music banned because of lyrics. It was just dumb. It was dumb, religion-based, scare tactics. And so it felt like this, too, where you got this group of fans, you don't have to like ICP. I get it. I get why people wouldn't like them. But to just say anyone with a Hatchet Man tattoo or T-shirt is loosely in some organized gang has real ramifications. There's real... try to book a venue when you're labeled as a gang on the FBI list. So they had concerts canceled. They couldn't get security for events. Fans were picked up and then hit with federal crimes like gang related crimes. So punishments were much harsher. Ron, he won't go out in face paint anymore, will he?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, it's just dangerous to be a juggalo nowadays.
I mean, as they argued in their legal brief, the practical effect of the gang designation, Mike, is that juggalos are discouraged from associating with each other or publicly expressing their identity because it makes them a target for law enforcement.
Yeah.
And that was their argument.
It's like labeling Deadheads a gang. It's like labeling Lady Gaga's Little Monsters a gang.
Oh, not Gaga.
Yeah.
I love Gaga.
Yeah. Parrot heads, gangs, gang members. So anyway, I don't know much about this. I saw the story last night, but it's like, oh wow, they shut that down, and it seemed to me like
they appealed. They lost at the district court level. They appealed to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and they lost there too. Essentially, it's a technicality, so to speak. I mean, they said it wasn't a final agency action that affected the plaintiffs. So the plaintiffs are the people who bring suit.
So that'd be
they're the parties.
Shaggy 2 Dope Violent?
No, one plaintiff in the case ran a trucking business in Utah called the Juggalo Express LLC, alleged that the group's large Hatchet Man logo on his truck caused a state trooper to detain him, suspecting that he was in a criminal gang. Second plaintiff alleged he was told by an Army recruiting sergeant that his Juggalo tattoos were considered gang-related, had to be permanently removed, or his application would be denied.
Oh, yeah. So
there's people who had been affected that they use as plaintiffs, right?
Okay,
that they set forth as, hey, I've been wronged by this.
So Mr. J and Mr. 2 Dope were not plaintiffs at all in this. Okay, all right, I didn't know that.
But essentially, the Court of Appeals said these aren't the correct plaintiffs because technically they weren't affected by technically a final agency action, which is important to an element of their claim. So without picking
so it's not saying no, you are a gang. It's like that's the headline of the story is denied trying to get.
Well, they were trying to get it wiped clean, and it's not wiped clean.
Yeah,
that's the result of it. Maybe they'll have the proper plaintiffs that the court would say under these circumstances. Yeah, they have suffered a final agency action, therefore their constitutional rights have been denied. But under this scenario that's been presented to the court, it didn't work for them.
Well, and you remember...
Doesn't say they don't have a case. It just didn't work with these plaintiffs.
Some of the... we won't remember all the elements, but one of the other disturbing elements of this case was the fact that there was an incentive for communities to want this gang label to stick to them.
Yeah, because they get funding.
They get major funding to combat gang violence. Yeah. So if you've got a gang-riddled area, whether it's MS-13 or Crips, Bloods... Juggalos, you get all this funding, and so for these smaller
that's
departments,
what the author proposed was really the impetus behind the whole thing.
Yeah,
was a certain guy, this certain agent or whatever, really tracked that and went for it in order to get the funding.
Yeah, it's a shame. You would think that more in the music community would come stand up for them, and get their backs, just knowing that at any point someone could come fuck with you and your group, and that doesn't usually happen. We saw what Pearl Jam went through when they were fighting Ticketmaster, and what happened to Metallica fighting Napster. So these guys don't.
Luther Campbell.
Yeah, Luther Campbell, sure, with First Amendment stuff. So these guys, I would think there would be more of a like us versus the world with the entertainers. And recognize that if it can happen to them, it can happen to me too, and stand up for each other. But they don't seem to be doing that for ICP.
It may be that they look at it as pretty extreme, like shit. This is kind of an example, like way at the end of the spectrum, that my fans aren't going to be affected by something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Everything we know.
But I understand, like in a vacuum, it's like it happens to one band, it could happen to yours.
And you know what the fact is, there's entertainment value for everybody, and I was never lost on me when I lived in Royal Oak, and I'd go home past the Royal Oak Music Theater. You always knew when the Juggalos, when ICP was playing, because there'd be a line wrapped twice around the building in the morning before the night show. Like, their fans are rad. There's cult-like following, and that's not easy to do. It's to be respected, and I've never been to one of their shows or one of their big festivals. But people say that they're amazing events, and the people are really cool, and everyone treats each other like family. It's like the Turtle family with E.
Very much.
They really do look out for each other. It's not a bunch of, obviously anywhere you've got 50,000 people, you're going to have incidents. I don't care if it's fucking Lady Gaga or, anybody. But it just felt wrong. Hopefully they can shake that label. But it sounds like you said, just a technicality of this thing.
Hey, before we get to this day in history with Big E, I got to mention, starting now, running through January 2nd, our friends at Zott Ford are offering employee pricing for everyone. Check out what you can lease for under $100 a month: a new 17 Ford Fusion, a new 17 Ford Taurus, a new 18 Ford Escape, or lease these under $200 a month: a new 17 Ford Explorer, a new 18 Ford Edge, a new 18 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive Super Cab or Super Crew. Remember, employee pricing for everyone at Zott Ford ends January 2nd.
Cool. Easus, we're kind of getting late in the show here, so you ready to do some, ready to drop some knowledge?
Sure. Okay, so anyway, this is December 20th, 1803. Ugh. This was when the French flag lowered in New Orleans to mark the transfer of the Louisiana Purchase from France.
Louisiana Purchase. All right.
So there's not a. I'll pull this up here, I guess.
Is it Jefferson that was behind that, E?
Yes, President Jefferson.
Nice.
It was his biggest accomplishment, some say, as a president. Although it was unconstitutional, it was not necessarily constitutional at the time, and a lot of people did not really necessarily agree that he should be able to do it at the time, and it barely made it through. Actually,
always naysayers.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. He admitted himself that it was not that the power of the government to buy land like this was not given in the Constitution.
And what did we get for this purchase, E?
Well,
was it a good trade for us?
It was an amazing.
Was it a Herschel
trade.
Walker? Herschel Walker-esque?
This was the best trade. No,
did we ditch one state to pick up 7?
No, it was even better than that. Actually, wow. A lot of this purchase in the end, which ends up going kind of Mississippi to about kind of the the Rocky Mountains. Although in the original treaty, it was not really defined what the purchase was, and so it took until 1818, I believe. 1818 to in another treaty, because they were kind of fighting, 1819, sorry, the Adams-Onis Treaty, which finally defined that it went to the Rocky Mountains essentially and up to Canada, actually.
The Adams-Onis, yeah.
But what part did Lewis and Clark play in that?
Yeah, I was thinking they came north. Weren't Lewis and Clark coming in hot through South Dakota or North Dakota?
About? Do you know Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
Like, are you being serious or being an asshole?
Yes, I'm being serious.
Dude, they were after the purchase. I didn't even do the research to know this, dude. After the purchase was made.
Don't shame me, you cocksucker.
Like a year or two later.
You know something about Lewis and Clark that I don't?
What are you talking about coming from the north?
Did you say Lois and Clark?
Yeah, I did. That was a Superman thing.
Soups.
They were hired by the government.
I thought they came in strong through the north and then went south.
All I know is Lewis fell in love with Clark.
Absolutely.
And who can deny it? I mean, he's a striking guy.
All I remember that is when Clark took his glasses off, he was unrecognized. Different man. Different man.
No, Lewis.
You wouldn't even notice him.
No, they were hired by the government to do a exploration of the territory that they had just purchased. So they went from St. Louis and then finally hit the Pacific.
So they specifically helped define what was in the Louisiana Purchase? Is that what you're saying, E?
Well, no, they were really just
What about Sacagawea? What part did she play?
This is not, dude, this is
Great
not even where this
question.
is going.
And when does kryptonite come into the mix?
Okay, I'm not gonna go down that route at all. We paid $15 million at the time, technically, for it.
$50 million, that's it.
$15 million.
Oh, wow,
15,
even
that's
better.
a steal.
Although the government did not have enough money to pay for it at the time, we only had $10 million to pay for it, so they had to go into they had to borrow money from two European banks at 6% interest. So in the end, they didn't pay that off until 1823. So really, it ended up being $23 million.
Not bad. Not bad.
About more than
we got raped on
Got to
that 6%.
spend money to make money, Mike.
I know. Who would think you need to take a mortgage out on $15 million as a country?
Let me ask you
Well, we
this.
were a young country. We've only been around for not that many years.
That is it's an impressive purchase, no question.
Double the country at that time.
Yeah. How
you really
does
have to have a vision.
How does it compare to the land amassed by President Taft?
Great question.
Well, it's not as much. I know that. So I don't know I don't know, but it's not as much. This was about 828,000 square miles in it that was happening. And although when I said that this is when the flag lowered in Louisiana to signal that the land had transferred, really the treaty had been signed April 30th of that year. It didn't get into Washington until July. Jefferson doesn't announce that we're going to do this until July 4th. In October, that's when it goes into the Senate and the Congress, where they ratify this and decide that it's okay. Really, the deal is Napoleon was working for France.
Napoleon?
Napoleon.
That little tiny son of a bitch?
Napoleon is the one who made this deal.
The guy's dick was out of control.
Yeah.
Napoleon, when he'd go into villages, little tiny man.
This is actually the treaty
Banged
here.
everything, dude. I think he had gonorrhea and all the herp and all kinds of shit.
Well, the deal is, he wanted to be attacking. He thought he was going to attack England. They had lost this slave. They'd lost this.
Always looking for a fight,
They lost this slave rebellion in Haiti.
Come on, England!
Let's go! Bring it on!
And a battle had never happened. He had been losing a slave rebellion in Haiti. And so they just needed to freaking get out of America. There was going to be a war about
Dude,
a fight about
fucking
this.
France. How overextended are you? You're losing a battle in Haiti. You're trying to hold on to this land in North America.
Not that big of a place.
Everyone thinks, though, everyone wants control of this land. And so they all just went to battle. In reality, most people wanted to go to war over this because there was a big. The Mississippi River back then is huge. It still is, but it was
the mighty Miss.
The old man.
Incredibly huge back then.
Old Man River.
And America had this deal where we would be able to use like the New Orleans port, kind of tax free. We could host our stuff there.
Fuck that. Why don't we just take it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we kind of did.
That's a great point.
Why did we even pay the 15 or 23 million,
Can we
whatever it
get it
ended
back?
up? Why?
This was better. This was better. For one, though,
it's like, hey, bitch, we're taking this land and you're giving us the Statue of Liberty. How about that?
This isn't America.
That's our final offer.
This isn't the America that you know right now, Jay. This is the America that's only not even 30 years old. These other countries are still more powerful than us.
Even
at
at 30,
at the
I
time.
think we could kick France.
They were great men. It was an amazing country. We had just achieved our independence from a world power.
Yeah, but you know what? Though that's the thing. Though we were not a world power. We were still a young thing that people were pushing around, and actually this purchase.
I say hindsight, it's always 2020, but we should have just taken that shit.
I agree.
Well, good thing. I'm glad
we could use that 23 million.
I know.
Now.
Yeah, apply it to the UFO search.
There you go. It's 1 year of 22 mil.
You know what Tom DeLonge could do with that 23 mil right now?
All the small things.
Left me roses by the stairs.
Surprises let me know she cares.
On the screen is
that's the treaty itself, man. Look at the
original?
penmanship. It was so good, wasn't it? So
brilliant.
grand.
Yeah, we've lost a step.
A treaty between the United States of America and the French Republic.
Can you zoom in on it, E? I'd like to see what it says.
I'm a visual learner, E. If we could
get on in there.
You're not going to be able to see anything.
See the actual language of the treaty.
Here, 1 second, maybe.
That's all right. It's all right.
This is a real hiccup in the lesson.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it is not.
So what else do you have to tell us about this, E? I'm waiting for more facts.
I still want to know what we gave up and what we got.
We gave the money. I just told you. That
and then what did we get exactly?
We got vast land, man.
828,000 square miles of land.
Where is that land,
Dude,
though?
I showed you.
What is it, Mexico? I need visual aids. Come on.
Look at Louisiana. Look at all the white men.
So we got all this.
Yeah.
It led to 15 states
So
eventually.
they did come in through Dakota.
What are you coming from?
Talking
where?
about Lois and Clark
Lois
again?
and Clark, yeah, where Soups came in.
Lois and Clark went like this.
No,
I don't
dude,
know what you're
I think you're wrong.
No.
No.
Are you being serious right now?
Lewis and Clark came in through Canada.
Whatever. I'm not even going to dignify that. That's ridiculous. So here's
Pretty
the thing.
sure.
It's no, they didn't.
Napoleon came in through the South. They met somewhere in the Nebraska area.
Okay, so one
and
thing
then
that's really
fucking
interesting about
Rumble
this is
City.
future President Monroe was one of the main guys doing the negotiations, and he ends up going broke, and actually the rest of his days is in debt because of this, because
he personally financed it.
He was a mayor.
Never supposed to do that, dude. That's business 101. You don't finance your own
back
project.
This was back in a day when there was people who actually had the feeling of
So much
God
he
and
believed
country.
in it. He believed in it, Mike.
I understand that,
He
dude.
was asked by Jefferson
Do a Kickstarter. You don't finance it yourself.
Yeah. Let
He
the
was
crowd
the
fund it.
he was the governor. He was the governor of Virginia, and when he finally was being done with when he was done being governor of Virginia, he was finally going to back off and take his law practice and his develop his land holdings to make money. Finally, he kind of makes some money, and Jefferson's like, "Dude, we need you. You're the only one that can do this." And he has to sell off his silver flatware, his plates, his white gold china tea sets.
And he still hasn't been reimbursed?
to fund his trip to go to France to negotiate this.
Wow.
He ends up being president, 1817
Encore
to
tickets aren't
1820.
cheap, you know?
Yeah.
1817 to 1815, he's president. And even after receiving a $30,000 congressional appropriation for public losses and sacrifices, he dies in debt. He does not.
Oh, James.
I hope his family's recouped since then.
Oh, Jimmy Monroe.
So who owned the land before we took it in this huge deal?
Well, France had
Indians,
it.
dot, not
France
feather.
had the land.
Feather, not dot.
Then
Feather.
they,
Yeah.
France had it. Then they lost it to.
How does France own this?
Dude, because
It's
they
just
threw a
crazy.
fucking flag in it, man.
Dude, what a great time to
I
be
know.
around. When it's like,
but
yeah,
that's
mine,
what I'm saying. Why not
mine.
just walk over and take the flag out and put a U.S. one there?
Over your knee.
Yes.
Break it and go, no, mine.
Mine.
Beat it, fuckface.
France had it. Then they lose it to Spain in the Spanish
Spain?
in a war.
Goddamn Spaniard. It's
And
always the
then-
Spaniards,
and
isn't it,
here's,
Jay?
And here's the thing. Then in 1800, Napoleon wants it again because he wants to start taking over America. And so he does a secret treaty with Spain to say that the land is his. And when Jefferson finds out about this secret treaty, that's when it's like, oh no, we need
Boot
to
up
fucking
that chicken hawk's
we gotta
ass.
stop this shit right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't like where Napoleon's going or wants to go with it.
Yep.
And that's when like I said, there was possibly going to be a war over this. A lot of people wanted to go to war over it.
I
He
would've.
sends the negotiations. They buy the land.
I think if
Also-
you were Jefferson, though, you're seeing this wisp of a man with this crazy sideways goofy hat.
He's wee. He's
It's like,
got one
fuck
arm
that
in his
guy.
jacket the whole
Yeah,
time.
and he's just morally inept. I mean, he's fucking everything that moves. Yeah, you wouldn't want to deal with him either.
And like I said, there was quite a bit of controversy over whether this was even possible. In fact, when it went to Congress to vote on this, it won by only 59 to 57
Wow, close game.
versus even whether they decide to even make the purchase.
59 to 57
And then it goes, yeah, that's past 59 to 57
in the Senate.
It just says in the Congress. So it eventually is ratified.
What are you
24.
Thinking there's 100 senators presently. I'm just wondering.
You saying this is a
I think
rigged
that's
deal?
a constitutional a number that's expressed in the Constitution.
It says that
Maybe
Congress
we had more
almost
states
canceled
back
it.
then.
It says
Did we have more states
no,
back then?
we did not.
Was there a Michigan 1
There
and Michigan
couldn't
2?
have been 100 because there weren't 50 states.
The Congress, dude, I've read this in several things.
No, I'm not going to challenge that. Go ahead, E.
I think this is a fair challenge.
I don't think it is, dude.
If the details
we're
are
probably
off,
talking about reps.
if the contract deals are details are off, this whole thing
Are you
could
calling
be,
into question
I'm saying
the
this
legitimacy of the Louisiana
I'm
purchase?
saying if this contract is found to be
Dude,
fraudulent,
no, listen, man.
we could be back to square one, and I guarantee you, France ain't giving us that for 15 mil.
I was thinking nowadays we have 50 states, 2 senators per. Obviously we didn't. We're talking about purchasing 823 million fucking square feet or whatever.
Not to mention Alaska or Hawaii.
No, those were not included.
I'm not going to challenge these numbers.
I will.
All
Look,
right.
I'm not sure. I'll admit that I don't know what that means, but I read that in several things that was the number, and that's how close it was. Someone did have a quote about this, and it just shows you that even back in this day, we sit here and think things are so divisive and think that divisive. Someone quoted this about it.
It's kind of divisive the way you called them out.
We are to give
publicly.
money of which we have little for land of which we already have too much. Like, people just did not think that we should be going into the extra bank to do this. It ends up being, of course, the right decision because there was gold and silver and woodlands there that raise this money.
What's the present value of $23 million?
Almost more than $250 million.
He anticipated the damn quick. Good job, Easy!
Wait, hold on.
It's a quarter of $1 billion. That's a great deal.
Hold on.
It was 3 cents.
Hold on. What year is this? 18 what?
1803.
So you're telling me 1803, $23 million in 1803 is worth $250 million now?
Yeah.
No.
That is what it's.
That would be worth way more. $23 million then?
Jump on the Bing machine.
That's what I said in this. I saw.
Doesn't that seem fucking low? I would think that would be
$1
trillion.
$2.4 billion.
I saw that in several. Okay, what does 23? I will. Shit.
You know, it's kind of while you're doing that, isn't it kind of shitty that there was a time when there was no one here and it was just like, yeah, good enough, I'll take this, and it's just like boom, here you are, and I just, this is mine. I called shotgun.
Well, have you ever really thought about it from the indigenous people's perspective?
Oh, I
what
know.
The fuck,
Yeah,
man?
I know. They were just so nice, too. Just nice,
Not
trusting.
necessarily, but...
Well, yeah, outside of the cutting off the top of your head shit, but for the most part, they came in friendly, right? Didn't they?
I don't know. I think it depended by tribe, man.
With a handshake, and they wanted, you know...
It depended, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think some of them were more savage from the outset, but...
I don't think you're supposed to use that word anymore. Outset.
That is weird. I will say this. I will say
it's an outmoded word.
I saw an article.
Hold on, I wasn't done with my point.
I apologize to the savages for using the word outset.
No, it hit me when I was in California and I was driving down the coast, and it's like all this coastline. It's massive coastline, and it can't be touched because the state owns it. And it's like, okay, you've just claimed 1,000 miles worth of coastline in California.
Wouldn't you rather have the state own it than just a bunch of assholes?
I know, but it's just like, well, dude, you got here first. You paid like a nickel for it. It's not fair.
If it's state property, you can probably go on it and enjoy it, right? Go on the beaches and stuff.
Yeah, but I can't build a house.
It's there for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
The public.
Yeah.
What is it? What's
well, this
the
shows
answer?
a different answer, but I did find that. This shows it's 480 million. 2017.
Okay, so it doubled from what you reported previously.
That's what I read it in an article, so I just.
Well, I'm glad you thought about that and that you were able to report something. You know.
Yeah.
I will say also, this was in the end. This ends the Louisiana Purchase, though, in the butterfly effect ends up a lot of people leading to the Civil War, because now with all these new lands that we have that become states, all these places have to decide where is slavery okay, where isn't it okay, and whether the balance of power of how much free states to non-free states goes on.
Well put.
And this ends up being definitely like a part of the thing that starts building towards why the Civil War happens.
It all comes back to the Civil War in E's mind.
Oh yeah, everything. As soon as I hear 1805, I'm just like, oh.
So is that it, Isis? Pretty good lesson.
I guarantee we're over our time.
Yeah, we learned about Soups and Lois.
Yep.
So that's good.
Oh, shit.
Nice job, E. Came in with 30 seconds to spare. I guess no email again today, but...
No email, but I do have to mention the Hamlin Pub supports the Detroit Cast, so let's make it a point to support them. With locations in Rochester Hills, Clarkston, and Chesterfield.
Lois and Clarkston.
2 in Shelby Township. You know there's one near you. The Hamlin Pubs have great food, ice-cold drinks, tons of craft beers, TVs, games, and great entertainment. Come on by or book your reservation today. Go to hamlinpubs.com for more information.
Very good. I think we should kill it there, guys.
Sure.
Good job, E. You anticipated. I think you successfully anticipated 2, at least, of Jay's questions. Maybe
didn't
3.
Ask him about Lex Luthor. He wasn't ready for that one. I could sense it.
Yeah,
But
I was
it's
going to
okay.
go down Mr. Freeze, but I was like,
Green
dude,
Goblin.
he didn't even
Leave
know.
it alone.
Yeah, he didn't even know about kryptonite. He didn't want to go there. It was like, well, whatever. And he thinks Lois and Clark didn't come in through North Dakota, which is hilarious. So, all right, everybody, thank you for hanging with us today. We got one more show this week, and then we're off for Christmas. So yeah, it's going to be. This is the time of year, man, when people are taking time off. It'll be a good week next week. So anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.